Hello, everybody. Welcome to We MNF, where the masses meet the nerds and the freaks. I am Shaba Elhani. I'm a professor of history and philosophy of science in the Institute of Biology, Federal University of Bahia in Brazil, and a music addict. Uh, the channel will have some philosophy, some biology in the sessions, but mostly we are here to share music, to enjoy music. Please, Chico.
Hi, everybody. My name is Francisco Palmeira de Lucena. My nickname is Chico. I'm a bass player and an architect. I'm doing nowadays research in University of São Paulo, and I like music too very much.
And he's a great bass player, even though he's too modest.
Thank you.
So, the idea of the channel, let's talk a bit about the name. Why this name? Where the masses meet the nerds and the freaks. In fact, we are describing what we consider as facets, sides of our personality. So, we like popular music. That's the reference to masses. We like music that is hard to find. We are always digging music. This is kind of the nerd side, our nerd side. And we like rather strange music also. So that's our freak side. So it's not about classifying music. This is mass, that's nerd. This doesn't make much sense. It's more about our sensibilities in relation to music. That's what we are talking about. The idea of the channel comes from this fact. We had the pandemic, as everybody knows, and we couldn't leave home. Everybody knows that too, yeah. So we were secluded inside our houses, and we are friends since teenager years when we would join physically to listen to music quite often along our days. And we decided to start doing this online using video conference applications. We start to simply join, listen to music, share music, enjoy music together. More and more people came to these sessions, but along all these years, I think we began June 2020. So along these 4.5 years, that's amazing. It was a long time. We have been doing these sessions, and Chico and me, we are always there. Every session we were there along these four and a
Uh,
half years. And it's very enjoyable. So we decided to share music to a broader set of people than the people that come from the musical sessions. So that's basically the idea. Our idea is simply to share music, and we want to share music with the as much people as we can. And that's why we decide to do this channel in English. But we are not native English speaker. We are Portuguese speakers. So we ask you to forgive us for mistakes that we will certainly do while we speak in English, but we do our best. And we think by speaking English, we can share music with more and more people. So that's basically the idea of the channel. What would you like to add, Chico?
I like to add that you speak English better than me. So when these mistakes probably will be come from my part most of the time.
You, you can be sure I'll do mistakes too. So today we are beginning the channel. I hope you enjoy. I hope you follow us, subscribe, and we can share music with you as often as possible. And today, to begin, we will share some music by Gentle Giant, which is a quintessential prog rock band. So anyone who likes progressive rock should know Gentle Giant. Most of the people who like progressive rock, I think, know Gentle Giant. If you don't know, you should dig for it. If you don't like progressive rock, you should give a try. And Gentle Giant is an amazing, adventurous beginning to enjoy progressive rock. So let's begin with our song for today.
so much of a bore. But in my own funny ways I find I learn much more. I realize what you think from your eyes, but in your own funny ways I find I learn much more.
So the first two parts of the lyrics. This is in the first recording by Gentle Giant. The eponymous album is entitled Gentle Giant. It was launched in 1970. And in a sense, the band is still finding its sound in this recording, but it already shows what they're up to. So that's a Baroque composition, but very beautifully played violin and cello. So that's a band with a multi-instrumentalist. So they play on stage, they manage to play around 30 instruments in one single show. In the studio, they are also exchanging instruments most of the time. So you have Ray Schumann is the bass player, acoustic guitar player, singer, violin player. We have Phil Schumann, who is the major singer in part of this track. He was singing the lead vocal in these parts that we already listened to, and he also plays saxophone and trumpet. Then you have Derek Schumann, the third of the Schumann brothers, constituting the band, and Derek Schumann is the lead vocalist. He will soon sing, and he also plays bass and saxophone. And we have Kerry Minor, who is the cello player, a lot of keyboards, vibraphone. I forgot to say that Ray Schumann also plays trumpet. And we have then Gary Green, the guitar player, both acoustic and lead guitar. And we have in this album, the drummer is Martin Smith. That's the drummer in the first album.
I think it seems like Baroque music, but sounds so modern to me. And at the same time, because you were right, it seems like a Baroque music. But there is some elements in the composition that we can say that is not a Baroque music from the time of the Baroque music.
Yeah, sure. Gentle Giant is a pot of influences, and they put all this together in compositions that, differently from most prog compositions, it doesn't last usually for 7, 20, 15 minutes. Usually they pack in like 5 minutes of intense music, a lot of its influence together. And as we continue, I'll go back a bit, and as you continue, you see exactly what Chico is saying, how the composition begins rather Baroque, but it will change very nicely now.
My ways are strange, they'll never change. They stay strange ways.
And back to the beginning.
Sorry to be so close from the start, but for all that I care, we could be miles apart. I understood that you never would understand the way of life. I never could. My ways are strange, they'll never change. They stay strange ways.
And it's interesting that oh yeah, please,
Oh.
Chico.
These counterpoints it seems like, and the melodies, to me, it seems like more a medieval music, not baroque music. Uh,
Mm, mm.
and
Yeah. This part when Derek Schumann takes the lead vocal from Phil Schumann, so when he says, "My ways are strange, they'll never change, they stay strange ways." So that's kind of a climax in this in the beginning of the song, and it is like a letter of intent, a statement of what the band is up to. So they're saying, we are a strange band. Even though they are into the progressive rock, they are different. They're clearly related to the progressive style. And particularly, Greg Lake once said that the best understanding of progressive rock was like that. In the US, the rhythm and blues and rock musicians, they went back to the sources of American music and then brought things from folk and country and degenerated rock and roll. And when the British went to do that, they moved into classical music. So he says, well, what we call progressive rock is the same kind of going back to the roots of our music that happened basically with classical music and with British folk, which are both influences on progressive rock. So I like this explanation by Greg Lake, who was the singer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and also from King Crimson before that. So founding progressive rock bands, he was there, so he knows what he's talking about. And Gentle Giant is into this same frame. So it is progressive rock, but it's also different in important ways. They don't compose very long tracks. They they tend to be very humored. So you have a lot of good humor in his music, which is not so common in progressive rock. And also, I watched many reactions videos from about Gentle Giant, and I didn't see anyone talk about this good humor side of his song.
very soon, the Gentle Giant came to tour as a band with complex harmony, melodies, and rhythm. So it is something special in this sense. It's not
Yeah.
good songs, very well composed and executed. Is very original too. It's very important. This is in this band. This
What do
band, the King Crimson and the Genesis. Now, for me, the three great bands of the
yeah,
prog
what I
rock.
want to say is that it's not only that it is well composed, but it's beyond that. It's very original.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah, and we can see as we continue. Uh, how the music will be transformed into something very different that was going on up to now. Now let's continue here, Becca.
Girl, way away for me. Girl, way away for me. Girl, way away for me. Girl, way away for me.
And then Gary Green gets a bluesy guitar in the middle, so it's like the climax of the song. So
Nowadays
it
seems
becomes
like a rock
rather
band.
jazzy. It seems like
A rock
sounds
band.
like a rock
Rock
band.
band. Yeah.
very, very jazzy too in the passage, and then with the
Yeah,
guitar it becomes very bluesy and rocky.
but Rich Blackmore in the Deep Purple, the solos is some kind of jazzy phrases, links.
Yeah,
It's is included. It's so
true,
mixed.
true.
It's so mixed. So, but here we can perceive now. So um, you can observe that the parts is very different from another, and
Yeah.
the unit the band is not achieved yet, because in the future
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah. I
can
see.
make something very complex with many parts, but you can feel the that that the
The
atmosphere.
transitions, yeah,
That's the any parts of the music is from that music. You can
yeah,
feel
yeah.
that.
No, I agree. I agree. That's one symptom of a band that is still developing. Funny Ways is a song that remained in the repertoire of the band for the whole career. So we would play this every show. But one thing that happens in the live action from Gentle Giant is that they change the music completely. So the songs become another thing. So Funny Ways would become more developed in the concert. So listen to the people who are listening to us now can look for a video from Funny Ways live, and you see exactly what Chico is pointing out. Now is quite a sudden change, which is a characteristic of prog rock, yeah, to make these sudden leaps from one
Yes,
style to the other,
the
but
change the part.
looks more a little broken, a little broken. And if you
Yeah.
see them playing, for instance, 1978 or 1975, 5 or 8 years after this recording, in the live shows, you see that it will not sound like this. They'll make a more smooth transition, more worked out transition.
Is it interesting we doing this together in for the first video, because I do not listen uh, too much Gentle Giant, but so you are special. You like too much. You know about the band too much.
It's my
So
favorite band.
yes. So is I feel interesting doing this. I like to
Yeah,
say what I feel, what
sure,
I'm feeling, and I think I have to do that. Even
sure, sure.
I really don't know enough to about the band. So, but I have to
Yeah,
say this bass player is a great bass player. I love the ratio. It's a great
yeah.
sound. All the career he played with just precision bass. That is the first electric bass made, and a simple one. So Ray Schumann can do many sounds, in all the albums of the Gentle Giant just with this bass. It's incredible.
Yeah, he played only precision the whole career. Just before finishing the song, a small commentary that's why our channel that we are beginning today is kind of a reaction channel because Chico doesn't know Gentle Giant that much, so for him it's kind of a reaction channel. For me, it's not a reaction channel because I know this band since I start loving them when I was 13 years of age. This means that I'm listening to this band for almost 5 decades. But it is a reaction for Francisco. We'll have always this kind of mix. Let's move on for the rest of the song now. A beat back so that we get the feeling and let's finish it.
And so you see what happened to me since the time when I judged my life in nights and days. to have been so much of a bore, but in my own funny ways I find I learn much more. Funny ways, funny ways, funny ways, funny ways.
Yeah,
I was about to say something that the lyrics in the end,
yeah.
they say that my life was lies. So let me read for you here. Since the time when I judged my life in nights and day, I realized that my life was lies. So you see what I mean with all my funny ways. I do think this track has a kind of reflection of the band on the ways they are taking their career. Because before Gentle Giant, the Schumann brothers were the three of them are in Gentle Giant in the beginning. They were in a band called Simon Dupree and the Big Sound. And this band had a significant success in 1967 with a track called Kites. And this was the basic band from the swing in London, a pop music from the 60s. And they were very unsatisfied with the band, even though they were becoming successful. And so I think they refer to, well, my life was a lie, so I'm not really feeling comfortable there. And they left they finished the band, the Simon Dupree and the Big Sound, which I really think is a nice band. I like to, but it was completely different from Gentle Giant. And they got a different group of musicians and moved to do this very bold kind of music that they're beginning to do. And so this, I think, is what they mean by funny ways, strange ways. So that's when they say, well, that's what we want to do, even though it is not likely to be as successful as Simon Dupree and Big Sound could have become. We never know because it finished so and had only one hit, which was Kites in '67.
I was about to ask you about talk about the lyrics,
Yeah.
because the lyrics is something that you can react so much, because there is a history behind the lyrics, and we have to respect that.
Yeah.
So even we have some impressions, For example, I feel that it's a sad song, a little melancholic lyric, but just that, not and
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a
I
funny
think
way,
that
right?
in a funny way. Okay, it's melancholic in a funny way. Yeah, that's a good definition. It's melancholic in a funny way because there is certainly this element of melancholy is in the track. It's composed, and the melody is melancholic. The lyrics, they're not so melancholic, I think. And it's a kind of a statement that, yeah, my ways are strange, they'll never change. That's how I am. Uh,
Um,
so it can be melancholic, but I really every time I listen to this song, I think of it as a statement of what the band wants to do. That's always how I. But obviously,
my strange ways, my ways are
yeah,
strange.
yeah. And I think, by the way, it's interpretation of songs or lyrics can be very plural. Yeah, I'll never say that I got the right way to think about the lyrics. This doesn't make much sense. It's more about how I feel about it, which can be a very peculiar feeling that nobody else has. Well, okay, this was our first video. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we pretend to be posting because we have very busy lives. So we pretend to be posting once a week. That's our plan, at least for the beginning. So next week we'll be back with another video. We hope to see you back in WeMNF, where the masses meet the nerds and the freaks. Bye.
Bye.